How is everyone doing today? And in this video, we are going to talk about the current characters, the characters coming up, and also some of the future characters that we should be expecting with the schedule that we currently have, with, of course, some missing banners that we've already skipped their initial timeline, and then some characters that should be coming up with the timeline that we kind of have with JP's banner releases. So, talking about the characters that we currently have very quickly, we already know Angel Beats is going to be the banner that will stay here until the full patch is kind of over, and this is very exclusive to them only because they're the collab characters. They have a higher time to be gotten. They're not going to be coming back with the platinum banners, I guess you could say, or future banners will not have them off rated. You cannot pull Kanade or Yuri with the other banners. You'll have to wait until we get the second Angel Beat celebration and eventually the third Angel Beat celebration. With that being said, Yuri, free to play fire attacker, doesn't really need to be said. She's not a real attacker, but we kind of just make her one because she hits like an attacker. And then Kanade herself is going to be a little important too. If you haven't already pulled Kanade and you want to know why you would want to pull Kanade, is because, of course, her main thing that she needs is, of course, her mind's eye buff that she can provide to her not only current self, but also to her SS2 version, which will 100% love to have this. This is what's going to make her very busted, because being self-reliant and being able to take up a spot away from the team for somebody needing to provide mind's eye or tactical vision is a pretty big deal. Not only is Kanade a really good light attacker at the current moment, but also an amazing one down in the JP timeline that we're currently looking at. So she's still going to be viable even to later on, and then also provides value to herself if you want to go for SS2 Kanade when that eventually comes out. That's kind of the main reason why you would want to pull Kanade. Other than that, that's pretty much it when it comes to these characters. Characters have been out for quite some time. I've made multiple showcases, multiple videos talking about them. So realistically, that's all that we're going to have to say here. But let's move on to the characters that should be coming out, if I'm not wrong, tomorrow, which is going to be Yuki, Hisame, and Monaka. Talking about Yuki very quickly. Yuki is going to be more of a niche support or niche unit, because her main purpose is that she's going to be giving a higher threshold of devastation rate or destruction rate to the enemy, and she's going to be raising that by 300%, which allows her, of course, to be able to allow you to do a lot more damage, especially if you're building up devastation rate. This is something that's really good on score battles or even on bosses that have low destruction rate, so that you can boost it up even more. Some enemies end up having 200 to 300%. Sometimes when they for some reason have a very low one, you can add that by 300%, and that's a lot more damage that you're putting onto them, and a lot more of a multiplier that you're adding to your base damage, which is a really good thing to have. This character by themselves is pretty nice to have, not necessarily needed, especially with a lot of the characters I will be talking about very soon. One of these characters that we're going to talk about is either going to check one of your wish lists, I guess you could say, in terms of general team building. When it comes to specific team building, there's just a lot better characters that we're going to be looking at, and it's the character that you can easily pull in the future off rate that really isn't going to impact anything. The only reason you would want this 100%, I guess you could say, is because this will help you get higher score in score battle because of the extra 300%, which will allow you to nuke even harder, giving you a bigger score in the score battles. Besides that, going into Hisame and Monaka, and also as a side note, remember that with the update, we should have shared bars or shared pity, so that if you're pulling for Yuki and you get max pity, you can go for Monaka. Same thing goes for Hisame. If you want to pull for any of these guys, you want to go into the other banner, they should share a pity now or a spark, however you want to look at it. Going into the next banner, and also to note that Yuki will be by herself on her banner. So yes, she is the only SS on her banner, so keep that in mind. With Hisame is going to be a pretty cool breaker. And the reason I say this is because not only does she have the 50% damage dealt modifier, but she also has a pretty good base attack. And with breaking with this Hisame, you are going to be giving everybody in the party ASP, which is kind of insane. This kind of speed runs buffing, debuffing, every type of thing you would need on the team by quite a bit when you're giving everybody on the team ASP. And with that being said, she also has her own self thunder attack up. This is pretty nice to have for the breaker herself, of course, because it's allowed her to do a little bit more damage, allowing it to be a little bit easier so that you actually get that break off, so that you can give everybody ASP, which I think is pretty cool. One other thing to note is that if you limit break 3 her, she does get 5 extra SP immediately, which is kind of insane. So you could easily pop this out very quickly, which it could work for certain speedrun scenarios. Monaka herself, this is a character that's pretty important to talk about. Out of the 3, which is Yuki, Hisame, and Monaka, Monaka is definitely the MVP of the patch. And the reason I say this is because this Monaka specifically will be the strongest light attacker in current day JP. And there's a reason why, and I'm also going to have videos talking about this in the future very soon, when talking about elements and what there are right now, what characters to pull for down the line, and also the very best team that happens to be I can say relevant in JP at the current moment. It's gonna be its own tier list video for each element, and that's kind of what I want to do. So we're gonna be working through that, and I will be making, of course, I think the light video first, just because Monaka, Yuki, all these light characters are coming around. Same thing with Kanade. We're gonna have to have a video talking about all those characters because it can get a little confusing. But this Monaka specifically is going to be the #1 character, and there's a reason why. There's going to be a Yuina in the future that is going to be working around totems, and guess who already works around totems? And that's going to be Monaka. She can give herself totems, and not only that, when she attacks enemies, she also gets totems as well. Yuina in the future, with that kit that she has, she gives specific buffs for having a certain amount of totems on them, and with her providing totems to the team, plus Monaka giving herself totems for herself, she's going to get a damage modifier off of this as well. So you're kind of buffing each other an insane amount with having Monaka get a certain amount of totems, and then every time Monaka gets totems, she's also able to use her EX skill, which is going to allow her to do a crap ton of more damage because she's getting maxed out on all these totems that she's gaining. So she's going to be by far one of the best light attackers in the game, without a doubt, a single doubt, because of that self-sufficient type of gameplay that she's going to have with Yuina, or really synergistic gameplay that she's going to have with Yuina. Other than that, that's pretty much it to talk about her right now. Like I said, we will have a video talking about all the light units, what the best team is right now, what are characters you need to be looking out for, plus the best JP team as well, so that you can kind of make a roadmap for yourself if you're building towards light. After these 3 banners leave, there are a couple of banners that we are missing. There's 2, in fact, that we are missing, and then the others are, of course, are going to be some that we should expect in the near future. The 2 banners that we are missing at the current moment is going to be the brides of Mari and Ichiko, and also Adohy and Yingsha. Now, Ichiko and also Mari are pretty good at doing their jobs. They both are really nice when it comes to attacking, and they both have their own benefits to their own character. Mari herself is going to be a very great, and I mean a really great attacker, because she's going to be self-sufficient and giving herself the ice field, plus being able to give herself hit count buff, which is of course going to go towards her EX skill, which is really nice to see. Being able to give that field to yourself, and also being able to be the attacker too, will allow you to take off 1 slot off the team that usually would be for your fielder, and now you can put that for a debuffer, a buffer, anything in the sorts that will help you out with doing more damage. That will allow this Mari to shine with, of course, giving hit count buff, giving herself her own field, and then going ahead and use her EX skill, which is pretty nice to see. She is going to be doing a good amount of damage, of course, with the hit count buff, and a pretty nice damage stat that she has herself, pretty average for what we've seen right now in Yen. And not only that, we also have the 50% HP damage modifier as well, and you will be receiving that HP modifier and the hit count buff when they're above 200% devastation rate, if I'm not wrong. So there is a condition to this specifically. And then the next one is going to be Ichiko. Ichiko is going to be a really cool character for a lot of reasons, and one of the main reasons is that she can not only work as a defender, but she also works as an attacker giving fragile. Not only does she hit really hard, 15,000 max stat and based on vitality, and she's also producing her own fragile. When you are provoked, or where you're provoking the enemy, the SP usage gets halved. So this means instead of 16, you're using 8 SP, and that 8 SP is giving you not only a fragile, but you're also getting the 15,000 base attack or 3,000 base attack on that EX skill specifically. So not only does she hit hard, she uses a lot less SP, but she also gives herself debuff so that she's able to give a lot more damage or produce a lot more damage to the enemy itself. The move is going to be based on vitality, and she also has a move that is going to give you vitality and provoke. So this is a really nice thing to have with Ichigo. Very self-sufficient, being able to cover both the defender side plus being able to use the attacking portion of her kit to be able to do a 2-in-1 deal, again opening up more avenues for more characters to be put on the team. So these two characters are going to be really nice. Now, are they needed? Again, not really, but they're really good to have if you like these characters or you want an ice attacker or a fire attacker. These are pretty good characters to have, but there's a lot of really crazy characters that we're going to be looking at very, very soon. The next banner that we are missing is Adohy and also Yingsha. Yingsha is going to be a character that you are 100% going to want when it comes to looking at the Thunder teams. Now, if you're not building towards Thunder, this might be a big skip, just because of course we have Inori. This is something that a lot of people have already talked about for the most point, which kind of sucks. But for her EX skill, Yingsha is going to be giving Thunder crit rate damage and also Thunder crit rate. With that being said, not only can she give that off for EX skill if you have SS1 Yingsha, can also give the hit count buff, which is actually pretty strong. So this is going to be the premier buffer for Thunder and something you would really want 100%. Not only that, she also has a way of giving crit rate up on her comment skill, plus having a chance of giving SP, which is really cool. And then other than that, that's pretty much it when it comes to this Yingsha. She's just a really good Thunder buffer when it comes to the Thunder team, and will continue to be so because she's giving all of these buffs like Thunder crit rate, Thunder crit damage, hit count buff if you have the SS1. Just makes her a pretty much all-in-one unit housing all the buffs you would potentially need for Yingsha. This is giving you Thunder crit rate, Thunder crit damage, attack from her multi-hit buff, and then the multi-hit buff itself. So yeah, you're getting stacked. You are getting stacked with buffs from this Yingsha. And then Adohy herself is going to be a blaster. Now, Adohy can give herself hit count buff, which is really nice. And with that being said, she's giving herself dark attack up. The hit count buff is coming from one of her S's, and then the dark attack up is coming from this EX skill. And when you're hitting weakness, you're going to be hitting even harder with this specific EX skill, which is pretty nice to see. This will be a more single target dark character in comparison to something like Yuina, who is going to be AoE that hurts a single target really, really hard. So realistically, not really the most needed character in the world when it comes to Adohy. She's very strong, don't get me wrong, because she's able to give herself hit count buff from her S, and for the fact that she can give herself dark attack up from her EX as well. This is a really good thing, plus being able to give that devastation rate. She's kind of being an all-in-one package for single target use for dark. But with a lot of these characters coming out, especially after I start talking about these specific ones, yeah, we're gonna forget about all of these guys, because we are actually really freaking close if you think about it. Right now we are at one banner, right? These are all one banner technically because they're all coming at the same time. These two are split into a banner, and then this one is by herself. We have Mari and Ichigo eventually, and then same thing with Adohy and Yingsha. These two will most likely be on the same patch because they like to run two at the same time. So right now we're looking at a half patch already, right? This is current patch, half patch right here. Yingsha, Adohy, Ichigo, and Mari. And then we're going to move on to some big boys very soon. These two are supposedly supposed to be coming out after all of these characters. The only problem I have with this is that they're both Christmas themed, and I don't think we'll get the Christmas themed units in the middle of summer. We could, because they did give us Waki and Bungo when it wasn't Christmas, if I'm not wrong. So there's a chance that we still get these characters. If they do, I'll talk about them when they get announced. But so far right now, if I'm not wrong, this Misato is pretty nice with what she's able to do. She's giving herself self ice attack up, and then she also has a hit count buff. I think if they're provoked with the AoE attack with a pretty good damage stat, we'll have to see. I'll talk about them a little bit more if they get announced. It would be really weird to announce some Christmas units in the middle of summer, which it would be really funny. But without these characters, right, without these specific two, we have a half banner right here, right? A half patch right here. We have half patch because they're usually 2 in 1 half patch. And then we have these Christmas characters. Guess who comes out right after this? We're like very, very near into the future. We start seeing these sets of characters. Boom. Boom. After we make these little, I say treks through these banners, Sharo and Maria and Tama and Megumi come out very, very soon. Most of y'all should know by now, if you're still building Thunder, Sharo is a must pull character because she is going to take away whatever resist the character has, resist them down, so now they're kind of weak to it, and then AoE fragile on top. That is pretty nasty without a doubt. And not only that, you also have a move that gives Thunder defense down. So not only are you overriding, you resist downing them, you have a fragile, you also have a Thunder defense down, and this is just the premier debuffer for the Thunder team, allowing you to brute force any character, any boss, any mode with this specific character because she will make them Thunder weak no matter what. And to top it off, this Maria as well will work as a pretty nice damage dealer if you need one, if you don't have a Thunder team, or if you want to just have a character that's going to fill in as a substitute for an attacker. This Maria could work as well because she will have tokens added to her kit, which will allow her to do a little bit more damage whenever she heals, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, whenever she heals, she gives a token, so she's able to boost her own damage up, which can help you out quite a bit with this Sharo if you don't have a full Thunder team. So technically you can make yourself a Thunder team by just summoning on this banner. This Sharo, yes, is very important for those that are still building towards Thunder, and is a must pull for those that are building into that team because of the override. We're going to see more of these characters very soon, but yeah, Sharo is coming very, very soon. Like, I mean, like, they're right there, in all honesty. With that being said, this Maria is just nice to have. The Sharo is a must-have for Thunder teams. And then after Sharo and Maria, we're getting Sutama and Megumi. Now, Sutama, everyone should know what she does by now. Ally crit rate up, ally crit damage up, mind's eye buff. So you're getting the whole suite of buffs for 10 SP, which is pretty expensive, especially when looking at her SS1 skill that heals, or some of her other SP moves that heal. She's going to be giving you a lot of buffs. Especially with the crit rate, crit damage, mind's eye, plus an attack buff to the reserve line. She's just giving you everything you could possibly ever need. You're not really going to have a lot of SP though to be able to heal your allies, so you are going to have to pull for a healer, or you're going to have to use a healer that you currently have, or sustain in any way, shape, or form in terms of a defender, because you will just be spamming SP on this Tama so that you're able to get all the buffs. And of course, I think a lot of people are saving for her limit break 3 as well, so that she can give herself 5 SP automatically, which of course is a big deal. And then Megumi as well, she is going to be the premier dark debuffer because she will be doing single target dark defense down, single target defense down, and then on her EX skill she gives an enfeeble. So we're looking at some really great units coming up very soon. Right now we're dealing with the buffer period of a lot of really cool characters, a lot of really decent characters, like looking at Yuki, looking at Monaka, looking at Ichiko and Mari, looking at Adohy and Yingsha. These guys, I have no idea what we're gonna do with them because it'd be really weird to release them in the summer. And then we immediately get Sharo and Maria, and then Tama, and then Megumi. So there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot happening. I will be talking about, like I said, a lot of these characters in their own video. Talking about their elements themselves. So talking about all the light units, which are the best light units, what's the best light team. Same thing goes for Thunder. What's the best Thunder team? What's the best Thunder units to look out for? All that different type of stuff. We should have that coming out very soon because it is a video I want to make. But other than that, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I watched the video. Also, thank y'all guys for using my code as well that I put in the last video. Y'all maxed out my rewards. I'm very happy for y'all. Thank y'all so much. And again, thank y'all guys for the 1,000 subs. Again, I can't appreciate it enough or thank y'all enough for that. It means a lot. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one. Don't forget to sub. Peace.